The safeguarding team work with vulnerable adults that are at risk of being abused or have been abused. We make sure that we work in partnership with service users. Safeguarding in Enfield is about making safeguarding personal, about ensuring that service users have a voice. Service users are the experts in their life, and we're there to support and to help them.
Having conversation with me, so together we can respond to a situation where there is abuse or harm.
Doing this so I have control, choice and involvement.
It's more than just being safe. It's about my quality of life and well-being.
That's proud.
So when Ida moved into a care home because she was struggling to live independently at home, there was issues quite early on which indicated she wasn't being kept safe. Ida, when she first went into the home, was really looking for a place that you could call a home, somewhere where she had friendships, where she was involved in activities, somewhere that she really wanted to stay. Unfortunately, at the care home, there was issues around staffing, there was issues about retention of staff, and there was also an issue about workload. And what that meant is that Ida wasn't receiving the care that she needed. There was an example where Ida's call bell was moved out of her reach. So if there had been an emergency, she wouldn't have been able to get the help that she needed. And moving a call bell intentionally is actually adult abuse. A safeguarding adults inquiry was raised, and I was asked to be Ida's advocate to support her at a time when she felt most vulnerable.
I want to move somewhere else.
My name is John. I'm Kieron's husband. We have been married for the last 25 years. For the last 5 years or so, she has been diagnosed with Alzheimer. I mean, some days she's more or less okay. She can remember, she can talk, she can do things for herself. But some days she's totally kind of out of control. She's very aggressive. She doesn't recognize me. She thinks I'm an intruder, I'm coming from outside. She just tries to push me out. So those are the days where I find it really hard to maintain that kind of relationship with my wife. But I love my wife and I would like to continue to do so.
The MASH team is the first point of contact for all safeguarding referrals for adults living in Enfield. We make contact with the adult at risk, the adult at the centre of the safeguarding concern, to sort of talk to them about what might be happening, what they would like to happen, what outcomes they're seeking to achieve. Safeguarding historically has been quite process-driven, where the adult at risk may not necessarily be as involved in the decision-making process, and in some cases the adult at risk may not even be contacted as part of that process, whereas the approach that we take now is that is the first and most important thing. Safeguarding interventions are less likely to work if somebody isn't in agreement with it. It's about somebody being able to take the control back and to be able to maintain their independence. They can't do that if decisions are imposed or decisions are made without them.
We received a referral for concerns of domestic abuse. I got in touch with John and Kieron, went and did a home visit and basically spoke to them both about what it is that they want to happen. So he obviously wants to keep Kieron at home for as long as he can, so it's about facilitating that. We also had a chat with Kieron, assessed her capacity to sort of understand what's going on, and from that it became apparent that they both need support in their own right. In speaking with John, in speaking with Kieron, we found out what activities she likes to do. It was agreed that she could go try in day centres a couple of times a week, and we'd have a carer come and visit her, keep her safe while John's able to go out. But it was all done through just simple conversation about asking John and Kieron, you know, what do you want to do? What do you like to do? How can we help you?
I can go on certain days out in the community to be with my friends and colleagues whom I have not seen for a while really. So it has kind of given me a bit of break from my caring role, and it gives kind of Kieron things that she is really keen to do and enjoy, and it is working well. I am really grateful. I'm happy, so is Kieron, and I think her kind of aggressiveness has gone down because it looks like she's much happier than a few months before really.
This case is obviously very complex. It's got physical abuse, domestic abuse, both adults vulnerable in their own rights. So as a multi-agency safeguarding hub, we can tap into lots of resources. In John and Karen's case, we've liaised with their GP, mental health services. The police were called in this instance. If the risk escalates or continues to escalate, we can refer to the police or other agencies for further advice and support.
Ida's case was referred to our safeguarding team by her daughter, who was concerned that she could be at risk of neglect. Well, when we went to go and visit Ida at the care home, there were quite a few concerns. We had a conversation about the safeguarding matter, and the advocate explained to me that she believed that Ida was at risk of neglect. While I was at the care home, I observed certain things, such as her call bell being too far away from her and out of reach. Also, the trolley with her food and water was, too far away from her and out of her reach. And the staff didn't seem to be very engaging with her, not interacting with her, and she was very isolated even from other residents. Well, Ida, through her advocate, clearly expressed that her desired outcome was that she wanted to move to a new care home. So what we then went about doing was going through the care management process in order to look for an adequate care home that would meet her needs.
And I think the most important thing was that she had that voice in what happened next, and that we could find a safe place for her to live.
I'm very happy at the home.
Well, Ida is safe and happy now in an appropriate care home, away from where she was before. But the thing is that we were very concerned that the potential for neglect and abuse was still present for other residents at the care home. So, we went through the policies and procedures at the care home, and we made recommendations in the MASH of what they should do to improve the internal processes and make sure that the care and support needs of other residents are being met. So the call bell being moved away is willful neglect, which is a crime. So regarding that particular incident, we notified the police and they will take the appropriate action.
I would argue that there's nothing that council does that is more important than trying to prevent abuse, to protect people who are at risk of abuse, and to respond thoroughly when people have experienced abuse. In any community, what could be more important than trying to make sure that often most vulnerable members of that community are safe? So one of the things that my colleagues here at the council with partners have done is to lead the way in something that we call making safeguarding personal. That new approach is very much about putting the person who is at risk of abuse or has experienced the abuse at the centre of both the way that we investigate the abuse, how we try to protect that person, and what outcomes we're trying to achieve with and for them in the future. So we were fortunate to be recognised as achieving the gold standard in making safeguarding personal. That's a great credit to the work that many staff across the council and other local organisations have done. All of the approaches that we've taken have been so significantly improved because we've taken the time to listen to the insight of people who've experienced abuse. And at the end of the day, nobody knows better than somebody who has experienced abuse what that is like. And nobody's voice should be louder or more influential in shaping the approach that we take.